Part 2 of your measurement DI requires an angled 3D diagram with dimensions. That's not going to be to scale. Can someone maybe describe to me or explain to me why you, when you're drawing it by hand, can't draw it to scale? Yes?
Because sometimes it's going to be like a meter long. So, well, like it's harder to draw exactly.
That's better. Like you don't know exactly what angle you're drawing it at. You're just giving the impression that it's 3D. You're not a computer to make it exactly the right lengths. Can you draw something in 2D to scale them? So you've been asked to draw the front and back with 2D diagrams to scale. You've been asked to draw the side 2D diagram to scale. Why haven't I shown left and right? Well, it's fair to assume that most people will be symmetrical, although really we're not. But for our purposes, we'll assume we're symmetrical. And also top and bottom 2D diagrams. If you cannot use a 3D drawing app like the example did that I gave you, then you need to know how to draw these shapes here. So that's what this lesson is going to be about. I'm going to show you how to draw stuff in 3D. So can you get a pencil and paper out, please? Pencil and paper up. Because I'm sure you've had assignments previously where they asked you to draw a diagram and they didn't show you how to draw. That's not going to happen here. To make things look 3D, you need to give the impression of depth going into the page. This is done by doing this. See how I always break stuff down into 4 steps? Well, not 4 steps, just steps. Draw the front face of your object. Can someone give me which one of these would you like me to draw in 3D? Cone. I'll do that. We'll leave that for now. Let's do a simpler one and I'll do a and in the examples below, yeah? Let's do a rectangular prism. Okay? What would the front face of a rectangular prism be? Yeah? Oh, that was close. So what does a rectangle look like? You just draw the front face of it. In 2D. Not even 3D yet. So if you wanted to follow along, go right ahead. That is step 1. Step 2, you draw the rear face of your object, angled and away. Up and right is usually what I would do, if you don't want to be overly fancy. Up and right from the front face. So let's pretend that I've drawn the front face here. What's the back face of a rectangular prism going to be? Same rectangle, okay? So I'm going to draw it up and right. You can choose the angle, but usually 45 degrees is okay. So I started with a rectangle, I drew 2. I'm going to draw those 2 again here so I can demonstrate this step. Connect the corresponding corners of the front and back faces with lines. So what is that? How many corners are there in a rectangle? 4, so I'm going to connect corresponding ones. The top left to the top left. Top right to the top right. Bottom right to the bottom right. Bottom left to the bottom left. So I'm going to quickly redraw that because I'm showing each step one at a time. Do you agree that if this thing was not see-through, you wouldn't see some lines there? So the last step, any lines that would not be visible, you make them dotted. Would this line be visible?
Yeah.
Would this line be visible?
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
The bottom of the rear. So I dot that. The bottom left edge along the side. No, dot that. Am I missing anything? I think there's one more edge that you wouldn't be able to see. Yes?
Left of the rear.
Left of the rear, dot, dot, dot. Now you're probably wondering why I skipped over the request for the cone. It's a very unique case because it's not the same all the way through, but I'm going to demo how to draw those around these boards. Okay, can I ask you please, can you at least, if you're an artist already, I know certain people are, they'd be fine with this, but if you're not, that is step by step how you make it look 3D, okay? You only have to draw one thing in 3D, but it's going to be a range of shapes, okay? You didn't need to note this down, so I'm going to do examples here. Did I just demo a rectangular prism there? So demo again, front, back, edge that I can see, edge, dotted, dot, dot. What's the front of a rectangular prism going to be if I'm looking at it straight on? Rectangle. What's the top or the bottom going to look like? You're laughing about it, and that's fine, but I teach Year 11 General Maths, and I teach this too. Some of the drawings that I see, you can laugh about it, but then the stuff that they draw is like, that's not what it would look like, okay? Side, what would it look like?
Rectangle.
Let's practice that process on a triangular prism. What does the front of a triangular prism look like? What do I draw up and to the right? Triangle, same thing. Would I see the bottom right edge?
Yeah.
Would I see the top edge?
Yeah.
Would I see the bottom left? I'll dot that. Is there a couple of things that I need to dot as well? Is there anything missing? No, you've got this rectangle here that we're pretending to be see. What's the front of a triangular prism going to look like? Top and bottom. Sort of a long one because it goes into the page. Side? Yeah, it's a rectangle. Even though it's angled, so I took these shapes here. Oh, no, there's no triangular prism there. Is this A4 piece of paper like straight up and down? What does it look like? I'm going to turn it like the side of a triangular prism. Does it still look like a rectangle? Is it kind of thinner? So it's still going to be a rectangle. Let's practice the cylinder. What does the front of a cylinder look like?
Circle.
Back.
Circle.
Up and to the right. There's no edge on a circle. So you just want to capture the bottom and the top. What's the only thing I'm not going to be able to see? The back left side, like the part that's invisible there. What does the front of a cylinder look like? What does the top and bottom look like? And from the side, rectangle again. Alright, I'll give you a couple of moments to get that. Boys, can you keep it? I'm almost done, and then I can stop the recording. You can talk all you like. Can someone look at the camera? Are these visible on the screen? Can you see it? Yeah, but you can still see it. What does a sphere look like? From all directions. I'm going to just turn it on the screen. What does it look like at all points? Just a circle. So how many circles am I going to draw in this table? No, 1, 2. If you wanted to be all specky because you're an art student, you could shade it. Oh, hot damn, all right. Or you could do the little hashtag or little hash marks to make it 3D. cone. This is why I skipped over it, because we need to investigate this. This is a cone. Let's draw the front, top, bottom, sides first. What does it look like? Just a triangle from the front and the back.
But it also has like a curved bottom.
No, but if you're looking at it straight on from the side or the front and the back, you're going to see a triangle. What would I see? So from the bottom, it's just going to be a plain circle. Would you see, so bottom, it's just going to be a circle. Is the top going to be slightly different? Yeah. To show that we're talking about the top here. This little nipple in the middle. So, what does it look like? Cone, so how do you draw it in 3D? What is the base of a cone? What is the base of a cone? A circle. If I'm drawing a circle in 3D, is it still going to be a plain circle? No. You will draw, to make a circle 3D, you draw an oval. So you just squish the circle like this. Okay? The cone is going to have a peak at the top, and then you connect the lines there. Is there going to be some part of that circle that I can't see? The back half of it. Yes, I know. Let me cook. The pyramid. What does the front and the back look like? Similar to the cone. What's the bottom of a pyramid going to look like? Square or a rectangle, if you chose a rectangular based pyramid. Is the top going to look slightly different? What's it going to look like? No. Because can you see the lines that form the... So it's not just going to be a little poke in the middle. It's going to be a square with an X. So pyramid's probably the hardest to draw in 3D. Does a square that's at an angle look like a plain square? No. If you put a square at an angle, it looks like a parallelogram. Can you imagine that being a square in 3D? This is a rect. This is straight on. What happens to it is this on an angle. See, it's a parallelogram. If you're looking at it straight. Put a dot in the middle above that and connect lines on each edge. Which is the only line that I won't see, the one remaining. Oh no, wait, there's others as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 1, 2. Those are the ones that I won't be able to see. Okay? Does that give you an... These are the required shapes in your assignment. Do you have an example of how to draw them from the different angles? Tick.